I went at the workshop today and yesterday, and I've done absolute fuck all to the cars. And the reason is, I've been sorting these out. These are all Garrett turbos, brand new, well, unused, that I got hold of somebody I know a few weeks ago, purely to sell on. Well, actually, to be honest, one of them I wanted to keep, but then I thought, fuck it, I'm going to sell it. They are all literally unused turbos. They were a bit dirty, some of them, when I got them, because just from being stored and a little bit of surface rust on some. They are all literally brand spanking new. Actually, they're not all Garrett. That one's a Loadsa HX50. But anyway, yeah, they're cool as fuck. Sold a lot of them already. Mostly because I'm fucking selling them really, really cheap. But I think I've still got some available. I'll show you what I got. These, they're called Garrett. They are called, according to the badge, GT32s. To me, they are, I mean, it's like twin scroll T4, non-wastegate. I would say they're only good for about 400 horsepower ish. They're sort of kind of like a slightly more modern, like GT upgrade of the old T04Bs. But I've sold quite a lot of them. They're surprisingly popular. I thought they wouldn't be very popular, but they are. These are pretty cool. They're GT, I think it's 3071s, twin scroll T3. And these are fucking real weird. They're GT3576, I think they are. T4, twin scroll, internal wastegate, but twin internal wastegate. So one wastegate per scroll, which is cool as fuck. Makes them a lot more useful on petrol engine cars as well. So yeah, they're badass. I think it's 62 mil inducer, something like that. But yeah, their class is a 3576. And yeah, they're fucking cool. This one's already sold, but this is pretty swanky. It's called a GT37. It's ball bearing. Twin scroll T3, 0.99 AR turbo housing. But yeah, ball bearing turbo. Water and oil cooled. They're water and oil cooled as well, the GT35s. That's already sold. That's also a GT35, but T3 flange. That's like a T3 T04E thing, very similar to what I ran on the on my Volvo, and obviously it worked brilliantly. But this is a genuine one rather than a Chinese special like ours. That's already sold. That's a HX50, which it's a big fucker. 65 mil inducer, maybe 67. I can't remember. It's you know, realistically an 800 plus horsepower turbo, but it was T6 flange, and in the UK at least, fucking nobody wants a T6 flange. Most people don't know what one is in this country. It's not like America where loads of things are T6. It's all T4 here. So I welded a T4 flange to it, because basically T6 and T4 very similar. So I've welded a T4 flange onto it just so I can be able to sell it easier. So now it's a T4 22 centimeter non-wastegated. This thing's weird. It is a VNT GT25. It was electronic actuator. Someone can have it with that, but there's no way anyone's going to be able to run it with that. But it's got a weird flange, like a T3, but turned 90 degrees, which makes it a bit awkward. But it's a real good spec. GT25, but it's got a big compressor for a GT25, more like a GT28. It's 62 mil compressor with I think it's a 42 mil inducer, which is only slightly, I think a GT2860, you know, like a 2860 RS, you know, disco potato and all that shit they call it, which is a 360 brake turbo, is a, I think it's a 44, oh, torch has died, 44 inducer, 60x juicer. This is 42 inducer, I think, and 62x juicer. Turbine wheel is quite funky too. It's like it's a staggered design, as in the blades aren't dead straight. You know, like I expect some people have seen like Bullseye Turbo did those Batmo wheels, they called them, which was like a weird sort of staggered compressor wheel. This is a turbine wheel like it. I've never seen one really quite like it. It's pretty badass. But yeah, it's a shame it's a funny flange, because that's going to put people off. Funny outlet too, but whatever. You could weld a... I mean, it's a normal outlet, so you could, you know, look circular. So you could just weld a 2-inch V-band to it, or even a conventional T2 flange, whatever. But for a diesel or something, it looks fucking good, because obviously VNT sort of spool out of nothing. GT25 turbine side, so it's not a big turbine, but that's a good size compressor really. So yeah, flogging all these for like next to nothing, which is why I've sold them quite quick. Like 400 odd quid, well less than that for some of them. I think I've been selling these for about 300 quid. The rest of them for 400, something like that. I can't even remember anymore. Finally doing stuff on this. First thing I'll say is Mark went out the TT rear boot spoilers. They look really good on the back of these, because I just nicked one from the scrappy for 15 quid and tried it on. Looks really good. Unfortunately, due to the shape of both boot lids, it would need that much work to make it fit properly flush. It ain't gonna work. It's a real shame, because it does look badass. It just looks like a really good, perfectly sized ducktail for these. But the shape of both boot lids are pretty much opposite each other. The TT one's slightly curved all the way through. This one's literally the opposite and dips in the middle. So it leaves you with a fairly big gap all around that there's no easy way to sort of seal up without it looking shit, or basically practically creating a whole new fucking wing in the first place. So that's out the window. There are various ducktaily, you know, lip wing things for these that you can buy, but the only one I really quite like the look of is the one like Thomas has got, and that's like a couple hundred quid from America. It's like, I can't fucking justify that. I just wanted to spend a little bit, and there are cheaper ones, but they ain't very good. I don't like them that much, and most of them, like Thomas's, bolts to the back bumper, which I prefer not to. I prefer it to bolt to the deck lid, boot lid, whatever the bloody hell you want to call it, because it makes it easier to remove the rear lights and stuff like that. When you've got one bolted to the rear bumper, it seems you have to remove the rear bumper just to get to the lights, and that's just a fucking pain in the ass. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm all about making cars easy to work on, and that's the opposite. This job was originally intended for the yellow MR2, but then after various disasters and then a good idea, this is now about this MR2, because these are the wheels that were on this car when I bought it, which are very good condition, no curbing, but they were corroded to fuck. The paint was just knackered, absolutely fucking ruined. But the tyres were decent, and I wanted to put some standard 15s on the yellow one. So my thoughts were, I was going to give these a very, very quick DIY refurb. So get rid of the peeling paint off them, just literally wire wheel and stuff like that to get rid of the flaky paint, and then quickly repaint them. I've done that loads of times in the past on cars. 80% of the time at least, it works out fine. Obviously up dead close, yeah, they're a bit wank, but generally, you know, from a typical walk past it, you know, a few feet away, they look great. But like I said, it's about 80% of the time. Sometimes you put the paint on and it's like, it still looks terrible. And that was the case with these, unfortunately. I had some Starchem paint stripper, which is like the proper fucking industrial paint stripper shit that actually works, and like shit you buy from the shops. So I slapped all that on, and yeah, it did a real good job of getting the majority of it off. It's still a messy, disgusting thing to do, because you then have to get rid of all the paint stripper, and yeah, it's still not fucking brilliant. But now I've made them this nice, I'm going to use these back on this. These will be the ones, once I've painted them, I'm going to put the Tarmac Rally tyres on. Because, well, now these are good nick. The ones I was going to put on these, which were these standard ones, which again, they're not perfect condition, but they're plenty good enough. But they've also got good tyres. These can now go on the yellow one. And those can go on that one. These are probably the best condition ones we've got. They are off that silver one that I went and picked up about a day after that one. Well, literally a day after that one. They're like freshly powder coated. They are pretty much mint. A couple of little marks, but almost mint. Unfortunately, they need tyres, because at least one of the tyres is like this one, look. It's like rotted through on the sidewall. Kind of good being the originals, but not like it makes any difference, because these are like the JDM wheels, but they're exactly the same as the UK ones anyway, just different centre caps, as in midship runabout with a fucking, what is that meant to be? It's a is it an eagle? Kind of looks like a praying mantis, but it's not. I think that's an eagle's wings, and the head is I presume it's an eagle. I don't fucking know, okay. But yeah, that is the only difference between the Japanese ones and the UK ones. UK one is just a Toyota badge. Painted the wheels, and after the previous disasters, they seem to have turned out pretty nice this time. I still need to sort of wait until they're dry to really confirm, but what I see so far, more than good enough for me. They look fucking good, actually. So hopefully they still do once they're dry, but yeah, so far so good. Next thing that arrived is an air filter that fits, and when I mean fits, I mean it fits in there, in the hole. After a lot of measuring and checking shit out, I can actually mount it so the air filter is going to be there. So literally the best humanly possible space there is. Unfortunately, to get it in, the easiest way of doing it is removing this quarter panel, which is normally quite easy, but I got a funny feeling the bolts to get it off at the top are under the hard top. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't need to get it off completely, to be fair. I just need to pull it out enough to get this in, because it's a bit big to go through the actual hole. But yeah, I'm gonna get that in, whatever it takes. Easy it was not. In fact, it's probably one of the most complicated things I've had to do to this car, but possibly, or well, almost definitely the best air intake setup you could ever imagine is done. So turbo, 3-inch pipe, MAF sensor, all the way to here. A bloody great big K&N filter, literally at the cold air scoop. So yeah, fucking ideal. You can't get any colder air scoop than that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not expecting like ram air effect, because I don't believe in that bollocks. You'd have to be going crazy speed, scoop or no scoop for that. But the point is, that is basically always going to be ambient air. There's no two ways about it. It is behind a fucking scoop. So it's always going to be getting the fresh air. So, good times. I hope it sounds mental too. I'm pretty sure it will be, because it's literally right next to the fucking driver's seat. So I'm guessing it's going to sound fucking bonkers. I hope so. There's another little thing I've done. It's got a little lip spoiler now. It's little. It's certainly not like a ducktail. It's more like, well, actually it's smaller than like the R32 Nismo lip. But I like it. It's a lot better than nothing. And it cost me all of 15 quid. So fucking job done. It fits perfectly along there. Ideal. I think that's all it needed. It needed something on the back. Just the way it was flat at the back, I didn't like. But that's fine. And being black is fine, because there's plenty of black on the car. The car's just black and silver basically. I might prefer it if it was silver, but I'm not gonna fucking paint it. It's like flexible. It's like it's strong, but it's like a flexible rubber, so I don't really want to fucking paint it anyway, because it might just crack. But no, job done. That will do me for the spoiler. That's all I needed. I don't want no big wing. They look shit on these cars. I needed either some kind of ducktail or something. And yeah, I don't want to spend money, so 15 quid on that is job done. Fits fucking perfectly. So happy days. Didn't occur to me until I tried to put the vent back on that the standard vent don't even fit anymore. Basically, because it goes inwards and the filter's there now. So I basically chopped it up and turned it into basically a trim ring, and it looks fucking good. I'm gonna buy some kind of black mesh, because I need some anyway for the back bumper, and I'm gonna use it for that as well. That's the rear suspension at the back, pretty much all bolted up and together. Anti-roll bars, drop links, all that shit. The arms, literally the only arm left is that one on each side, because it really needs two people, you know, somebody to lift the hub while you force that in place, because obviously the suspension's under a fair bit of tension. That is the front suspension, all bolted back up. Turns out I'd not even bolted the anti-roll bar to the chassis at all. I, you know, sat it in place, but there was no bolts in it or anything. I don't remember that, but I don't remember what happened to me yesterday, barely, so not very surprised. But yeah, all bolted up now. I've left everything relatively loose for now, because well, I want to make sure nothing needs changing or redoing up, or what, you know, undoing or fucking anything before I do the final thing. So it's all in place, but I want to you know, speak to Thomas tomorrow and this, that, the other, just to make sure I've not done something fucking stupid and forgot something before I bolt everything up. But that's that done, and that is the last job I'm doing tonight finished. Brake pads fitted, EBC yellow stuffs, which is a brake pad and brake brand, to be honest, I've always gotten all right with. They're pretty cheap, they're easy to get. Yellow stuffs are bloody good pads, like real good stopping power. They're like what would you call them? They're kind of a race pad, but they're perfectly good on the road. They fucking stop real good. For like standard discs and calipers on small cars, I find them really good. They're what I've got on the MX-5 and stuff as well, like, because to be honest, it's like with brakes, it's not caliper size and disc size and all that that really fucking makes a car stop. It's mostly the pad, like what type of bloody pad. And these things are fucking, I like them, they're good. So yeah, job done. Also, while you've always seen me doing all these fucking weird and wonderful crazy tuning shit, I fucking hate normal typical, you know, garage mechanic working on cars. It's like, I'm the opposite to most mechanics. You go to most mechanics and they can do normal servicey stuff with their eyes closed. It's like, it's their bread and butter, their day in, day out fucking work. I'm the other way around. I can do all that shit. I've actually got an NVQ level 3 or some shit in motor vehicle mechanics and maintenance and shit. Basically, the kind of stuff that would be a qualification to go work at Quick Fit or some bollocks. So I can do it, but I don't do it often, and I don't like it. It's like, I don't know, I've got less confidence in doing basic mechanic stuff that garages do all day every day than I have making a custom turbo conversion. You know what I mean? It's like, it sounds fucking weird, but it's just what you're used to, innit? And but what I will say is another reason I'm growing to really fucking like these cars. I don't know why, because it's a normal standard single piston sliding caliper, same as fucking 99% of cars. That was probably the easiest brake pads I've ever had to change in my life. I don't know why, because it's a typical normal design, but it just super easy. I have fucking no idea why. I mean, it's pretty much the same design as like MX-5s and whatever, but it took me about, well, less time than it took me on any other car. Literally same as always on these. 2 bolts at the back, then you pop off the outer bit, the carrier, whatever you want to call it. No, that's not the carrier, is it? That's the caliper itself. The pad carrier's there, that stays on. Take the old pads out, pop the new ones in, done. But everything just, it all just slips into place. Like, sometimes it can be awkward getting them in the metal clips and all that, and just things aren't great on cars. But I don't know, maybe it's Toyota, because I've always found Toyota build quality is really good. Everything just fitted bang on straight away, no effort, so job done. I've also changed the wheels on the yellow MR2 back to standard ones. These are the ones that was on it, 7x17s, and I've put the standard 7x15s back on it. Again, I didn't film this, but who cares? I weighed them to see the difference, because that's the main reason I did it. I don't mind how these look. They're, you know, they're quite smart wheels, but I like performance more than anything else. And the standard MR2 wheels are very light. They're, you know, thin 5 spokes. I mean, you see them over there. I'm not going to walk over and show you, because who cares? But they are, there's very little metal to them. And the 5 spokes, honestly, at the back, they're hollow. As in the back, each spoke is cut out. There's no meat to them, and they're light. Like, you know, they're not as light as some fucking magnesium or forged wheels, but cast 7x15s, they're one of the lightest. They're just over 6 kilos each, like with no tires on, which is fucking light for a 7x15. You know, you can save, I mean, let me think. About the lightest cast 7x15 is like I think an Oz Ultra Leggera. That might even be a forged wheel, but they're like 5 kilos. A lot of like lightweight wheels are heavier than that, like 7x15s, like 7x15 Team Dynamics Pro Race 1.2 whatever, which is classed as a lightweight track wheel, is a little bit heavier than these are. So it's like, you know, they're fucking good. So that's why I'm running them, because they're very light for what they are, and they're free because I've got them. But yeah, I've swapped one of my spare sets onto the yellow one instead of these, and I've weighed these versus one of those over there, so including the tires, because that's the thing, see, honestly, people don't realise, but tires weigh very similar amounts to wheels. I weighed these, I weighed one of them, including the tires. Bearing in mind they're the same width, it's just these are 17s, they're 15s, even the same tyre width, they were both 205s. These are 6 kilos a wheel, well, wheel and tyre, heavier than that. So 6 fours, 24. So on the face of it, 24 kilos lighter. But it doesn't work like that with wheels and tyres. It's unsprung mass, which is more important, has a bigger effect than sprung mass, and it's also rotating unsprung mass, which again makes a bigger difference. And it's an estimation, so it depends on what you believe in, but what people say for the difference it makes, you know, it's much more of an effect than just removing sprung mass, as in weight of the body or anything suspended by the suspension. Rotating unsprung mass is a bigger effect. People say anything between 3 times and 10 times, and people's got reasons for all of that, and I think it depends on the thing. I've seen a lot of bike people say 10 times in acceleration, at least. I've often seen people say 4 times, 5 times, 8 times. The lowest I've ever seen is people saying it makes 3 times the difference. But put it this way, 3 times the difference would be the equivalent of these losing, what's that, 72, 74, yeah, 72 kilos. So this would be the equivalent of 72 kilos off a standard MR2. But say it was 4 times. So let me see, I'm just going to do the sums quickly. Yeah, even 4 times, which is on the low side of what people say, that's 96 kilos. 8 times, 192. And obviously 10 times would be well over 200. But anyway, whatever it is, even if it's the real low side, even if, you know, 3 times is probably an underestimation, because I've experienced this loads of times. We did loads of these tests at Redline and whatever, and the difference lighter wheels make is fucking ridiculous considering. But I would say on a lighter car, the difference is magnified. And yeah, so even if it's 3 times, taking off 100 kilos nearly off that is fucking huge, but it's going to be more than that, and it will make a difference. I've experienced it, well, pretty much every car we ever tested it on, from little Twingos to heavy ass Audi TTs. The difference lighter wheels made was quite ridiculous, to the extent that the acceleration was that much more urgent. It made the traction worse, you know, more wheel spin on hard acceleration, just because the wheels would spin easier. And even from a roll, I remember us testing it, you know, standstill and like from a 60 roll, all sorts, and the difference is there regardless of what speed you do it. And to be honest, probably the main thing you feel is the handling. It also affected the braking. It made it better, but also, again, a bit like the acceleration, it made it a bit easier to lock them up because there's less fucking weight. Yeah, it really does make a big difference. I'm all about light wheels, but again, it's about the value for money thing. They are just over 6 kilos. I think the lightest full stop available, 15x7, 7x15, whatever you want to call it, is like high 3 kilos, and that's like mega bucks magnesium and whatever wheels. It's like, even the fairly available but still not fucking cheap lightest ones you can get, probably still end up costing me at least a fucking grand, are only like 5 kilos each. So I don't think saving a kilo per wheel is worth it versus other mods. In other news, I went to Halfords and bought some black grill mesh. It's like aluminium mesh, you know, chicken wire. Well, it's really the kind of stuff builders they put on walls when they're, you know, they want like fucking plaster or whatever to concrete to stick. But from Halfords, it's already either painted or powder coat. I reckon it's probably powder coated, you know, because it doesn't flake off, but black. And I posted this on Instagram and I had loads of people going, oh yeah, well, you could get it cheaper elsewhere, or you can fucking, the plastic stuff online's better and all this. It's like, yeah, but you miss the point. This Halford stuff, A, isn't sharp as shit like the fucking, when you cut it and you cut your hands to pieces, like the chicken wire you'd buy from the DIY store, which, to be fair, looks exactly the same, is way cheaper. Unlike the chicken wire you'd buy from the DIY store, this is already black, which I wanted black. Otherwise you'd have to paint it, spray it, and it would never look as good and never be as hard wearing. And to be fair, more to the point, they had it in stock, so I could just go and fucking buy it and get on with it. You know, yes, there's better stuff out there and cheaper stuff out there, no doubt, but time and convenience is a thing. And when it's not much money, no matter where you fucking get it from, who cares about saving a fucking tenner for loads of extra work? I fucking don't. It's a tenner. I care about saving loads of money, not fucking tenner. So yeah, I bought some of that, and I did it to make some mesh for the back, because I don't want to run the standard plastic shit because it's ugly, but I didn't want to leave it open because that also seemed a bit ugly to me. So mesh there, obviously it matches the original mesh there. I also decided I was going to paint the mesh, the plastic mesh as part of the grill, black. Either way, none of them come painted but not completely painted, but I thought, you know what, that'll look nicer. So I masked it off and just painted the actual grill bit black, and to me personally that looks a fucking 100 times better than either unpainted or fully painted. And more to the point, it matches the other mesh. So silver, black mesh, silver, black mesh. And guess what else I've done silver with black mesh? Where the air filter is on the modified one. Personally, I think that's cool as fuck. I really like that. I don't know if you can even see in this light. Yeah, you can a bit. But yeah, you can just, if you shine a light on it, you can see the filter behind it. Generally, because it's relatively dark and the black mesh, it hides it completely. So yeah, I think it looks really smart. Little finishing touches on the hoses and the wiring, and that is it. It's fucking ready to start. Put the fluids in it and send it. I honestly don't know if it's going to be in this video now, because I've done so much fucking stuff. This video's massive. So I think it might actually be the fucking next video now. Bloody hell. But yeah. Oh, I'll tell you another thing. Obviously, look, I mean, obviously this all fits lovely in this engine bay, but there is a fucking lot going on now. It's quite a busy engine bay. Look, as a comparison, how basic and fucking brilliant a 1.9 TDI one is. As much as I'm not necessarily into diesels, this is just a fucking dream to work on. Look at that. And I know I've got that 1.8T to put in the yellow one, but you look at this and it's like, fucking want it like this. Best daily ever. Oh shit, so it's broke. So fucking what? You can reach everything. Just like removing a single thing. It is really, really fucking basic. Obviously the inlet and exhaust are on this side, so there's nothing at the back anyway. It is fantastic. You know what, I think I fucking should, because I'm tired and I could go home now, chill out, edit the video for you, and you'll see it. Then the next video will purely be us doing the final touches and starting the fucking thing, because I think for the last 2 videos or so I've said, oh, next video will be at starting, but then you realise all the little jobs left to make it start. Whereas now I'm kind of fucking running out of things to do, so the next video will be a few poxy little bits of wiring and plumbing, not even plumbing now actually, and then starting it. It's pretty cool if I do say so myself. So and you know, the result, considering the cost, is going to be fucking good. And obviously this is just me doing bits and pieces in my own time, and this whole thing from a standard car to a fucking pretty fucking serious motor, and very clean and nice. So it took me 2 months, which is pretty good going. I think most people would take years to do the same. Even I've built cars over time, you know, probably only as many mods as this, or maybe less, and this took me fucking years. But this has took me 2 months, which I'm quite proud of. And if I could, you know, and if I did one again, just a basic swap, I'm sure I could do it in a few days, less than a week for sure. I've had all the parts ready. But anyway, enough waffling. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video, which I would hope will be in, well, I don't know, less than a week maybe. I just realised there's only 4 minutes left of this memory card as well. If that's not a sign this should be the end of the video, I don't know what is. So yeah, I'll see you in about a week with a running MR2. And yeah, you can like and share and comment and subscribe about that one too. And ring the bell, whatever the fuck that is. See you later.